Hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of season 2 of Twitch to YouTube. Today, I have a very exciting episode and a conversation that I'm very excited for you to watch, as I am for you to watch all of them. I am OutlawMan76, and joining me today is OneSmallGhost. We have a fascinating conversation coming up, I believe. I hope you find it equally as fascinating and equally enjoyable. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, like the video, perhaps leave a comment, and if you feel so inclined, hit the notification bell to be notified when I release new episodes. Now, without further ado, here's the conversation with One Small Ghost. And welcome into the conversation portion of the episode. I am here with One Small Ghost. Hello, and welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. I hope you are well, and I'm
Yes.
I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I hope you are at home as well. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the content in the pattern, I have anywhere between 9 to 10 questions, depending on how the conversation goes. Some are standard for every guest, and some are uniquely tailored for the guests in each episode. So, with that said, are you ready to begin?
Yes. So ready.
Okay, so let's start with something easy and simple. It's all in a name, as they say. So, where did the name One Small Ghost come from?
They do say that. Well, as uh as you probably know, when we first met, I was the Spooky Boo.
Mm-hmm.
That was my name. And that name came from like nowhere. Like I literally just sat in front of Twitch, had the thing open with the username, and I was like, what kind of encapsulates like what would I want people to call me? You know? Like
Mm.
what fits my style?
Mm.
I was like, nah, the Spooky Woo. That's oh yeah, because Spooky Woo was taken, so I had to become the Spooky Woo, the one and only
The
Spooky
yeah.
Woo, right? Yeah. And then after a while, I don't know, the name just didn't. I don't know, it didn't fit me anymore. Like I wanted to change. I just wanted to rebrand and do something different. So,
Mm.
um, then yeah, Small Ghost was taken. Ghost was obviously taken. One Small Ghost was not. So that's how that happened. So yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot, not a big elaborate story behind it really, but just it's just a name I liked, really.
I mean, I'm a believer in things happening for a reason and fate and whatnot, and one could
Mhm.
argue that that's sort of a fateful story, in that you were sort of looking for things and you found something you liked, and there can only be one small ghost, and it is you, my friend.
Only one.
Only
That's
one.
true.
There's only one.
Yeah.
And yeah, so what made you decide to start streaming? What was the moment and the journey that was like, I want to play games or hang out or create content on Twitch?
So it was um it was during a period of my life where it was like rough.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like we're talking like heavily depressed, like days in bed, and all I had was like playing video games with one of my friends. That was like my that and playing single player stuff like Crusader Kings and blah blah blah.
Mm.
But that was my everyday. Like I was a full blown hermit, didn't socialize, didn't interact with anyone. Um, and he started streaming, like competitive shooters and stuff, and we were
Mm.
playing like Valorant together. We were playing Call of Duty Warzone together, which is funnily enough compared to what I play now, which is just like horror games and like spooky stuff. And I mean, I love that,
Yeah.
but first person shooters are my jam and
Mm.
always have been. Like
Mm.
that is the one game genre that I could stand there and say I can play those games to a proficient level.
Mm.
Like um and so he started streaming just as a bit of fun,
Mm.
and so he was like, yo, you should stream too, and then we can have like different perspectives and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, like maybe,
Yeah.
but like I was like I say, my mood and
Mm.
situation was very low, so I was
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
you know. And then I was like, can we swear on this show?
Yeah. 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 Go
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, you know, like what else am I doing right now? I have nothing else to do, so sure, I'll try it. I'll give it a go. And so then I think the first thing I streamed was some uh, like tiny little terrible indie game that was kind of like Quake, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I played that with my friend 96, who's also a streamer.
Mm.
Shout out to 96. Um, and yeah, so that just kind of developed, and then I got a taste for it, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of fun. Like, I mean, I didn't really have any viewers at the beginning, you know,
Right.
like me and him.
Yeah.
But making the BRB screen, you know, making the starting soon screen, coming up with stuff, you know,
Mm.
that was fun. Like, it gave me like an outlet, it gave me something to do,
Yeah.
and so I just really kind of got into it and was like, yeah, you know, like this is fun. Like, I'm actually enjoying getting up and doing this, you know. Um, and so that's kind of how it happened. I just kind of started doing it, liked it, stuck with it, and then started to develop it a little bit. You know, like raise the quality a bit, like get some proper transition scenes, get some emotes made, and so on and so on. And yeah, it just kind of naturally grew, really. And oh, and then I got put in touch with first person in sort of our communities that I met was Closey,
Mm.
Closey88.
Yeah.
Um, because I had played a couple games with him, and he was always in my chat, and he was just funny, just a
Yeah.
really funny northern guy. And
Mm-hmm.
then I can't remember if it was him, but somehow I then got put onto Maggie, and Maggie was the first person that I met. And you know, Maggie's like the hub,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Like she's like Mama Twitch.
Mm.
Like everybody stems from Maggie.
Mm.
So as soon as I met Maggie, it was like boom. You know, suddenly I know Emma. Suddenly I know Madam Mim.
Mm.
Suddenly I know, you know, just tons of people from the community. And then I had friends,
Mm.
and I had people who were into streaming, and I was into streaming, and people who wanted to play games, and I like playing games. And suddenly I had this sort of community feeling around me that I didn't have. So it really, streaming really brought me out of that rough patch. You know,
Mm.
like it kind of got me going like a jump start. You
Right.
know.
Well, I know I speak for others when I say we're all glad that you decided to start streaming and found it. And I did meet you through Maggie and Mim. And I mean, I'm very grateful to have met you. And I really enjoy, being able to, whenever I get to hang out in your stream, or if you come to my stream, or if we're both in Madam Mim stream, wherever we get to meet, it's always
Yeah.
it's always an enjoyable time. So I'm really happy, and it's a heartwarming story that sort of helped get an outlet, because I
Yeah.
went through a very deep depression about 5 years ago. So it's the
Mm.
type of thing where you just, days don't matter. It's all
Right.
blending together. It's just so,
Yeah.
I know what it's like to have something to pull you out of that. So that it was streaming
Hmm.
is really cool. So you did
Yeah.
mention,
And
yeah.
yeah, no, I was just gonna agreeing with you. Like absolutely. Like it's just the day becomes one big day. It's just
Mhm.
monotonous, and
Mhm.
then suddenly it's like one little thing that happens, and it's like a catalyst for suddenly you're in a different place,
Yep.
and it's crazy. Yeah.
It's a little thread that gets pulled that unravels
Mm-hmm.
a whole thing,
Exactly.
a whole tapestry. So you did mention that you are into first person shooters, but that you stream sort of like horror games and indie games, and I know there's an Elden Ring run going on as well.
There is. Yeah. Yeah.
So what is the decision making process in deciding what you're going to stream, like the content that you're going to put on? Is it just what you're feeling, or is there like a sort of you know
It's mostly just what am I into right now.
mm,
Um, of course, that's not the entire thing, because obviously I've kind of now become known for horror and spooky stuff. So there's that as well. But it's mostly just what am I into, and I was into playing spooky games, so
mm,
it was perfect for me.
mm,
But you know, with the thing with Dark Souls and Elden Ring that I then started playing was, it's a similar aesthetic. Like it's staying within the vibe that I've
right.
set out for myself, but it's a different kind of game. Like it's a more challenging, more game
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to a walking simulator. So
Yeah.
that excited me because I'm like a video game masochist. Like I'm a textbook Souls player because the harder the game is, the more into the game I will be. So that's why I think I liked first person shooters so much, is because with a lot of those there's a very high learning curve, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very difficult to get good at, like competitive like Valorant or
Oh yeah.
I don't know, Battlefield or whatever. But Yeah, all those games have always hooked me. But the horror games are fun on a different level.
Mm.
Like the horror games are more like it's just pure entertainment. Like I feel entertained by the game. Chat is entertained by my reaction to the game and their reaction to the game, and it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like a communal thing. Whereas playing Dark Souls or playing a first-person shooter would be more like I'm playing that game solely for my enjoyment.
Mm.
Like whether people enjoy it or not is up to them, but
Yeah.
it would be a game for just me.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, I kind of went on a bit of a binge. Like when I first started streaming, it was like Crusader Kings. It was this. It was that. It was very all over the place.
Right.
Like I even did a couple of streams where I tried to stream the first ever Zelda game and hated it so
Mm-hmm.
much. um, yeah, so it was very weird, like it was different genres all over the place. And then I kind of the thing that really got me going and got me numbers in the first place was when I played Baldur's Gate, the new
Mm.
Baldur's Gate.
Yes.
Because it had just come out,
Mm-hmm.
so people were obviously looking for it. And I had already at that point played through and completed Divinity: Original Sin, and had played a lot of Divinity 2, and obviously Larian Studios, it's the same studio.
Mm-hmm.
And so as soon as I saw that coming out, I was like, D&D game, my god, made by that studio, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
jumped on it straight away and played through it a bunch and had a lot of fun, and that's when I met Closey.
Mm.
And then I think he convinced the streamer he was watching to raid me, and so by the end of it, I went from having like concurrently, I don't know, 5 or 6 viewers maybe,
Mm.
to suddenly having like 20 plus every stream. So suddenly I had all these people in chat, because up to that point, it was the same 5 or 6 people lurking hard, and
Mm.
lurkers are the bedrock of Twitch. So
Yeah.
no shade at all.
Mm-hmm.
But suddenly I have like chat is happening,
Yeah.
which I'm not used to. So like I'm playing and I'm like, oh my god, people are talking. Hi, hello. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah.
um, Uh, and so yeah, and then from there it kind of went. That's when I met Maggie, because Closey told Maggie about me, I believe, and she dropped into the stream, and then Thor did Thor things and dropped like 5 subs or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
and I was like, what is happening? Also, a crazy thing that happened to me very early on when I started streaming is I got raided by a guy called Loco, who is a
Mm-hmm.
StarCraft player, or like vet StarCraft player, and I was playing uh, Stardew Valley, had like 11, 12 viewers. Suddenly he raided me, and I had 600 viewers
Mm.
out of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I completely lost my shit.
Yeah.
And there was like bits happening, there was hype trains happening, like my chat was on fire, and I did the best thing I could with that situation is I went on BRB and had dinner almost immediately.
Hey, there you go. That's.
Yeah,
I believe that's in the actual streamer's handbook on what to do in that
it's
situation.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I believe it's freeze and say nothing,
Mm-hmm.
cry,
Mm-hmm.
and run away. I
Yeah.
think are the three things that you do.
Yeah. In
Yeah,
that order. Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
tell us, what is the one thing that streaming has taught you about yourself? So because streaming is one of
Mm,
those things that, I don't think a lot of people who don't create content understand how much of yourself you're putting out there. There are people who
yeah.
can just put on a persona, if you will, but even then, that's still parts of them. So when you're
Right.
streaming, you're laying yourself bare a lot of times. You're
Yes.
talking. You're the only one usually talking, unless you have somebody on with you, and
Yep.
you're sort of a lot comes out. So, what is
Yeah.
the streaming journey? What has it taught you about yourself?
Mm, that's a complicated question. It's a lot. I will say it's taught me a lot. Um, it's I mean, the first thing that jumped into my head is where my limits are.
Mm.
Like what I think I'm capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because as I say, I started streaming in a very rough patch of my life, and at that point, I was like incapable of anything.
Right.
Like getting out of bed was a challenge,
Mm.
and so suddenly now my channel is growing. I'm streaming for 3 hours, 4 hours, now I'm doing 6-8 hour streams like every other day,
Mhm.
interacting with tons of people, and so it was kind of, it showed me that I could
Mm.
be like social. I could be like more than I was before, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and that was super important. But as you say, yeah, like you do put a lot of yourself out there.
Mhm.
And so for somebody who was voluntarily hermiting, putting myself out there was like terrifying.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Especially because, there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot to get over as
Mhm.
well. And I think just generally, like, because there's a lot of, you tend to begin uncovering like insecurities and feelings of inadequacy in a lot of areas when you start streaming, because you start to think like, oh, chat's not chatting as much as they were yesterday. Am I interesting?
Mhm.
Was it something I did yesterday?
Mhm.
Am I now not as funny as I was because I'm in a different mood? Should I be in a different mood today? Is this
Mhm.
the right mood? Like,
Mhm.
you start to question so many aspects of like who you are day to day and how you should be on stream, how um and yeah, it's very, it's easy to get lost, I think.
Yeah.
And I was definitely guilty of that, like for a long part. Like I was trying to be somebody I wasn't because
Mhm.
I thought that's who I should be on stream, because I was trying to keep it consistent.
Mhm.
um because you like, I do a bit on my stream all the time where I take the piss out of those YouTubers,
Yeah.
who are like, how's it going, guys? Let's just jump straight into it, gamers. Like, don't forget to ding that bell. Like,
Mhm.
the problem is, like, those people are super successful, so you see those people, and when you're on stream, you kind of even like subconsciously emulate in a little
Yeah.
way, because you think that that's the formula, that's what works, that's how you do it. This is the job.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it definitely brings into question like, what is authentically me? What is it that I'm embellishing or creating in order to give an image of me that I think people should see or want to see, or
Mhm.
um but the thing that I have learnt the most is that my streams do the best when I am authentically just me.
Yep.
They my numbers, like, people I engage 1,000% more when I am authentically me than when I'm sat there just trying to machine gun gags,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
Like, but that was a hard lesson learned,
Yeah.
because it took me a long time to, one, understand that fact, to actually think I have anything of interest to say,
Mhm.
and three, have the confidence in myself to drop that front and
Yeah.
just be authentic, be myself.
Yeah.
Um, but Emma has talked about it, and I think quite a few people in the community, they describe my recent development as a glow up.
Mm.
Because if you go back to the clips of me before, I was like kind of uh like a sweaty, like Cheeto stained Mario speedrunner who was like super meek and like
Mm.
scared of the camera almost.
Mm.
Um, and now when I stream, I have the black makeup. I've lost a lot of weight. Like I've changed how I look, how I am. I'm a lot
Mhm.
more um, and the funny thing is that that is me.
Yeah.
Like that is me gaining the courage to be authentic, and the sweaty tryhard trying to beat his PB in Mario
Mm.
was who I thought people would want to see,
Yep.
which is
Yeah.
completely ass backwards.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's just coming to these seemingly obvious realizations, but at the time are the most elusive ideas to you. But
Mhm.
everyone around you can see it except you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
it's funny you mentioned taking the piss out of those YouTubers, because I have a clip, a famous clip on my channel called "Your Boy," where I go on the "It's your boy Jay. We're here with your, we're dropping those dubs, fam. Hit that bell, hit that, all of that whole thing that I just riffed on it,
Exactly.
and somebody
It's so
clipped it.
fun.
Yeah. So it
Like Madam Mim has like a sound alert that she wanted on her channel
mhm.
because it's something I said on stream. What's up, gamers? It's your boy Snail Dick here. Let's just
Mhm.
jump straight into it.
Yeah.
Like that has become a thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I don't know, like there's something about that that's just inherently funny. It's
Yeah.
just hilarious.
Yeah.
Whenever I see it, hear it, I can never take it seriously,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where learning, I think, because I went through a similar journey, right? Like when I
Mm,
first started streaming, it was very like, down to the clothes I wore, down to how I presented myself, and
yep.
everything like that. And it got to a certain point where I feel like you are not going to have fun streaming if you don't be yourself. That's not to say
Yeah.
you can't be successful, because there are people who create personas and
Oh,
they take
for
off.
sure.
You can be successful, but in my opinion, I don't think you're going to have fun streaming unless you're
Right.
yourself. And
Hmm.
it's helped me sort of um, gain a self confidence and understanding that people are there for me and are there for the stuff that I want to play, and the conversations that
Hmm.
we have, and just the natural jokes. I don't have to force anything to be funny. It's nothing,
No.
you
Yeah.
know, things like that. So it's a journey that teaches you, I think, about self confidence and understanding that you are, as yourself, the best version of yourself.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's because we get it into our heads that uh we're a show, like how you would watch a TV show. And
Mm-hmm.
TV shows are scripted, they're meticulously well thought out, they have, characters and jokes prepared and blah blah blah. Like we're producing a show,
Yeah.
but we're not. Like
Yeah.
that's not what Twitch is.
Mm-hmm.
Like if people wanted to watch a show, they would go watch a show. People
Right.
watch streamers because they want to see a real individual who they can hang out with and relate to and treat as if it's their friend. They
Mm-hmm.
want to interact like they would their friend. You can't interact with Joey from Friends because it's pre-recorded thing.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a different level of entertainment, and I think that's the problem. We get stuck in this mindset of what has to be highly produced, like a
Mm-hmm.
professional product.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, like I mean, some of the biggest streamers, like their production value is like kind of garbage,
Yeah.
but they're just a really lovable, interesting, sweet person, and people just gravitate toward that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, I completely agree.
I Oh, perfect. Okay, okay. It just froze for a second. It froze right at the end of the answer, so it's perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. Um. So that I there's a friend of mine who is I'd say fairly successful streamer, and
Mm.
his approach to it was, I may have the controller, but we're all on one big couch hanging out.
Right. Yeah, that's the dream of getting to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So just pause for a second for a little bit of chop. Just if you want to slide to your right a little bit.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. There you go. All right. And the chop is done. All right, so you have a very inclusive community. Um,
Hmm.
and your community is a wide variety, stripes of people in all shapes. And you make sure each person feels loved and welcomed and safe and in that space. How important is it for you to create that space where people are they feel loved and accepted for simply who they are?
Oh, it's that surpasses anything else on the channel, and it's not just Twitch. That's a life
Mm.
thing. Like I want to provide that in every way all the time, as much as I can. Because as like as much as it is for the people who I want to create that space for, it's just as much for me.
Mm.
Like I want a space where I can be myself. I want a space where I can be comfortable, and I want a space where I can be respected regardless of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I want to foster that kind of environment so that other people can feel that way and feel safe and included and valid, and I can too with them.
Right.
We can all feel that way. Um, and it's insanely important to me, which is why I mean I've there have been times where my streams have been called like a lawless wasteland. Be- because I'm pretty lax on what I like. I will let a lot slide.
Mm.
um, because I feel like I mean, obviously there is a limit. There is a point.
Yeah.
Like if somebody comes in trolling, like saying just heinous shit,
Yeah.
they're out. Like they are done.
Yeah.
But if somebody comes in with an opinion that may not be mine or may not be shared by the community, I won't insta slap them.
Mm.
You know, because for me to do that would betray what it is that I'm trying to provide here.
Right.
I mean, but again, if we're all having a conversation about something, they come in and give the devil's advocate contradictory thing to an extreme point where I'm like, okay, you're just trying to
Mm.
provoke and be a dick, then
Yeah.
they're out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as long as it's civil, as long as people are, kind and respectful of each other, like anyone is welcome. Literally anyone is welcome.
Mm.
As long as they're over 18,
Yeah.
because chat can get lewd.
Mm-hmm.
But um, but again, that's all part of it, and that's I think that in and of itself is extremely important. I think too is
Mm-hmm.
my chat is known to be very very sexually driven,
Mm-hmm.
very lewd,
Yeah.
and I actively encourage that. I foster it
Mm-hmm.
because I think there aren't many places in the world where you can go and just have conversations like that. You know, I think it's extremely important that people have conversations like that.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
and that it's normalized, and that it's not seen as like no one's judged for it. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
if like I don't know. Again, I don't want to ruin your video,
No, no, you're fine.
and
You're fine.
you can edit this or whatever. But like if I'm like if somebody comes into my chat and they're like, so if you get like jizz in your eye, is that a big problem?
Yeah.
And like they're asking seriously, then we can discuss and talk about it as if it's not like this ridiculous meme. It's like, okay, well, if that's actually happened, then yeah, it can burn, but
Yeah.
it's fine, just wash it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, like, but that and many other examples, like just open conversation about things
Mm-hmm.
that people typically are like, I don't want to, I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I think this is really important.
I think. Well, I mean, little lesser known story, but you and I actually met in a sort of a group hangout that was sort of discussing, um, that sort of it was a. I get the sense that you don't really
Mm.
remember it, but it was you, it was myself, it was Mims, Closey, Maggie was there, I believe Thor was there at some point in Mims
Mm.
Discord, and we were just it was just a hangout, and
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm with you. Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I am very similar in that people should have spaces where they can just go and talk about those things that, you know, quote unquote polite society would not want to have the conversation about. Because people, I think, what often happens is people tend to think they're so alone. You know,
Yeah.
they think their experience is unique to them, or
Hmm.
what it doesn't necessarily. Now, of course, there are limits to everything as we discussed, but
Mm.
in the sense of I this happened to me, or I like this certain thing, or and you start to self doubt, like, man, I'm such a weirdo because I'm the only one that probably is into this sort of thing or whatever. To get
Right.
to a space where you talk to others and understand that no, maybe somebody isn't exactly into the one to one thing you are, but they're into something equally as would be considered quote unquote taboo. And it helps people
Hmm.
understand and be more comfortable with themselves and be happier.
Yeah.
So I agree in fostering that type of conversational environment as well. So,
Yeah. Because there can be a hell of a lot of shame.
mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's societal.
Yeah.
It's you're taught that,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think it's the biggest like fallacy because everybody does it. Everybody thinks about it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like in it, but nobody talks about
Mm-hmm.
it. Like everyone's too scared
Yep.
because you don't want to be that one weird guy who brings it up.
Exactly.
So I want to create a weird corner where
Mm-hmm.
everyone can bring it up,
Yeah.
and it's be totally fine.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, and I think a perfect thing is it's not just about like if somebody has problems and they're able to like share that and gain, but also if somebody likes something,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody's like I'm really into this and I just want to tell people to see if anybody else is with me on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love that.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing. I mean, it might not be my bag, but get it, King. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
oh yeah.
And getting that reaction of no, you know what, that may not be my thing, but it's not. You don't shame them for it, and they
No.
understand and they feel, you know, the shame gets lessened for them, and they feel more welcomed. and it makes it's as you say, it's one of the more important things, if not the most important thing that you can do when you have a platform like Twitch or YouTube or whatever the platform is, where people can come in and have a conversation to make them feel less shame about themselves. And if
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so that's
Yeah,
kudos to you.
but at the same time, like conversely, I don't want to say like that's how you should be doing things.
Right.
That's how. If you are somebody who wants to just go on the internet and play video games and have fun and just have a nice cozy like
Mhm.
stress-free time,
Mhm.
fine, because streaming is for the streamer.
Yeah.
Like, yes, of course, the community is important, but they are there voluntarily, right?
Mhm.
Like, if they want to be there, they'll be there. If they don't want to be there, they won't be there. You stream for you
Yep.
because you want to stream.
Yep.
So if you want to foster an environment like that, like where that is a thing, then do that.
Mhm.
But don't feel like you have to do anything.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah. It's key. It's as again, it's being authentically you. So if you're just someone who just wants to focus on the game and that's it, nothing else, that's fine. There. Somebody once told me there is an audience for everybody. There are so many
Absolutely.
streamers. There's so many types of streamers or whatever. So never feel as a content creator that you have to be a certain way. That's
Mm-mm.
the discussion that we were having before. The only thing you have to be is yourself.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Whatever you, if you're a speedrunner that rages, if you're just a person who just is bad at games and has fun and take the piss out of yourself, whatever you are, just be you,
Yeah.
and people will come by and enjoy the environment. You know.
Exactly, because I mean, look at it from like a selfish perspective, right? If you want to socialize with people that you like,
Mhm.
so if you go on and pretend to be this dude, you're gonna start attracting people who like that guy,
Yep.
but you might not like that guy, and
Mhm.
you don't like the people who like that guy. So
Yeah.
you're surrounding yourself with people that you don't want to be around. So
Mhm.
if you be authentically you, then you will only garner people who you resonate with.
Yep.
So yeah.
The
But
rubber
again,
the rubber is gonna meet the road at some point in that situation.
right, exactly. And I mean, it makes perfect sense. Like,
Mhm.
it's the most logical, simple thing, but actually learning it, getting the confidence to do it, like getting over the insecurities surrounding it, that's a whole process.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
is, and I don't think it's something that I don't think you can go into it in the very first stream just unabashedly be yourself because you're so nervous. It's
Mhm.
a process. You have to go in, you have to do it, you have to go through the
Yeah,
transformative
you
process.
got to do the time,
Mhm.
like because it's like proving, it's like
Yep.
proving ground.
Yep.
Because you go in and then you slowly, gradually start to eke out like who you are. You start to open up a bit more, and slowly but surely, because you want to feel safe in doing that.
Mhm.
So you eke it out bit by bit at a time until you're just completely open and you're like, wow, that's so much better. It's like a relief, like a deep breath.
Mhm.
Like I can just be me now. This is
Yeah.
great.
It's
Yeah,
nothing but open road in front of you. Uh,
right, exactly.
Speaking of your community and the type of things, I was looking through some of your redeems, and you have a few redeems where people could dress you up. You can put you in
Yeah.
a dress, or you can
Yes.
become a princess and all that. How did that start? And tell us sort of the impetus of that, and
I have no idea. I mean, because it started off with the Princess Zelda costume. Um, and I had a thing where I was like, okay, if I get to, I don't know, it was like 150 followers or sort of something like that,
hmm
then I'll do a Zelda stream. And then me being me, I keep upping the ante. So I'm like, I'll do a Zelda stream as Zelda. Because just because I thought that'd be funny and it would be fun to do. So I bought a Zelda costume. I got to 150 followers, and then I dressed up as Zelda and played Zelda. And it was great. It was fun. People loved it, and so I was like, well, I'll just make that as a redemption. So if people have enough points, they can just suddenly put me into a Zelda, Zelda cosplay. And um, yeah, it just became kind of a fun thing. And then so the other stuff, I mean, I know it's the same thing. It's dressing me up, but
yeah.
that comes from me having already done it, had the idea to do it, and I'm like, I'll just it'd be fun for people. The putting me in a dress is uh is a whole different thing. So this goes back to Emma.
Mm.
Um, so there was a time where Emma didn't feel comfortable um wearing like women's clothing, like feminine clothing on stream,
Mm.
makeup, anything like that. She just felt very uncomfortable about it.
Right.
Um, and that she was a bit apprehensive, a bit scared to do it.
Mm.
So I remember I laid down the gauntlet in her chat one time. I can't remember what she was playing, but she was streaming, and I said, look, I will wear a dress on stream if you wear a dress on stream. And so I kind of, I think, like, no brainedly was like, yeah, sure, that sounds, go ahead,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh no, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm not just saying this. So
Mm.
then the next street, I bought two dresses from EMP or Killstar, I'm not sure,
Mm.
but they're like really nice, like kind of, I don't know, alternate dresses.
Mm.
And so I got this one with like straps and buckles, and like it's like a proper, like, it's a cute dress.
Mm.
Um, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do it. So I didn't really, I don't think I announced it because I knew
Mm.
Emma would be there
Right.
because she'd been in my streams.
Right.
So I didn't say anything, and so I just put it on. I put the makeup on and everything, and then I got on the stream and I started the stream with my camera, with my lens on,
Mm.
like this,
Yeah.
and then took it off. And then I stood up and I was like, "See, Emma, if I can do it, you can do it." And then I did like a curtsy and a twirl, and I was like, "Haha." Um, but but all of that is, it goes even deeper, because that I am completely comfortable with.
Right.
There's a reason why on Twitch, you have like the pronoun extension
Mm.
for the
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah.
There's a reason my pronoun extension is any, is because I don't mind.
Right.
Like, I'm a very, like, I can be extremely effeminate, even though I'm a dude with a beard. Like,
Yeah.
I can feel very effeminate, and I
Mhm.
want to wear a dress, and I want to wear the makeup, and I want to be like cute or sexy or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, I can do that, and I can also, be dude.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how I'm feeling. So me wearing a dress isn't unusual to me, but I
Right.
can see how it's unusual to other people.
Right.
Like, I knew it would have that shock value, but to me it's like, this is cute. I like this. Like,
Yeah.
this is, I would have done it on my day off. Like,
Mhm.
it was. So anyway, long story short, she she then uh saw that, and then got a bit of courage, and so then I made it a redemption as well, just like the Zelda thing. So
Right.
it was like, if you want to put me in a dress, you can put me in a dress.
It's an amazingly heartwarming story, and again, it's how one person's just self, being confident in themselves, and as you say, it was nothing out of the ordinary for you. You would do it. You would just, whether the camera's on or not, how it could impact somebody else and help them on their journey. And I'm, happy that Emma is continuing her journey.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing little tidbit of how people could just look at Twitch as just one thing, and Twitch could be so many things. And this is one of
Hmm.
those things where it could be just two people, sort of one person helping another person, directly and indirectly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, it's an amazing story, and I'm glad that you got to tell it, because I think a lot of people out there will like to hear it. And I've gotten actually some feedback from viewers of the show saying that sometimes the interviews, people will be inspirational in ways that they're not even realizing. So,
Oh. Well,
perhaps.
I hope, like, I mean, Flynn has said in my streams, he's been like, oh, the way that you do your streams, it's, kind of inspirational. I want to have a similar thing, and that is absolutely the case. Like, because you don't realize
Mm-hmm.
what it is you're doing. It's very much like a butterfly effect,
Yep.
because you do the tiny little thing that to you is so pointlessly insignificant. Like, I go on a rant, well, monologue for like 10 minutes about, like, I don't know why, I don't know, so something that's important to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I get like very passionate about it, and then I'm like, okay, and then I carry on playing Elden Ring like nothing happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then it sends ripples, and then people start thinking about it, and, like, for instance, Flynn then messages me, and he's like, oh, dude, like, that's really cool, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, but in the moment it doesn't occur to you,
Yeah.
and that's the crazy thing, is it takes other people to relate, to mirror back to you what it is you're providing,
Yep.
and then you see it and you're like, whoa, like, that really did have an impact,
And then it
which is crazy.
boosts you in yourself, and it's this amazing, because I've had that where I will go on these, rants about whatever societal things or relationships or self-image, whatever it is. Like, I'll just talk about my journey, about things that I've gone through and things like that, and people will tell me later, like, when you said this thing, it really, it hit home, and it did this and then that, and then now it bounces back to me, and it's like, what I'm doing is making a difference. Being me is making a difference, and it just sort of, you keep feeding it, and it feeds you, and it's a cycle that's really, it's one of those
Yeah.
things that I found completely fascinating and completely utterly surprising about content creation. I never thought
It's
it would be that way.
yeah, like you never you never expect it, and then when it hits you, you're like, oh, like wow,
Mm-hmm.
because I think a lot of the views, a lot of the experiences, a lot of the things that we have in our lives are so mundanely normal to us. Like we don't think about it or consider it,
Mm-hmm.
and um, it's like other people are taking it and giving it the value, and then showing you the value of it.
Yep.
And so then you start to see the value in your experiences and your think and what you think and what you how you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's yeah, it's incredibly empowering. And as you say, it's like a cycle. It's like this beautiful symbiotic relationship
Mm-hmm.
within the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. So you create a fair amount of content with Madam Bim, and we've spoken about her a little bit here and there. So I'm glad that there weren't many Mim stories until we got to this question, because this is a Mim question. So we save all the ammunition for this question. But
Sure.
you create a fair amount of content in, collab with Madam Mim. So tell us what that collaboration has meant to you as both the content creator and as the person.
Uh, I don't even know where to begin with it. Like everything, like it's everything. It's
Mm,
the most surprising, most awe-inspiring, most positive and exciting thing that could possibly have happened. I
right.
mean, because um, so the story goes. I'll give you the brief version. So the story goes. When I started streaming, I met Maggie.
Mhm.
Maggie kind of liked my streams, but thought that my emotes were shit. They
Mhm.
were shit. She then went to Madame Mim, who she knew drew emotes and was a very good artist,
Mm.
and commissioned her to make me some emotes.
Mm.
So you know the little ghost like
Mhm.
moi emote.
Mhm.
That was the first ever emote that Mim drew for me, and that's why I use it all the time everywhere.
It's a cute
Um,
emote.
right? It's adorable.
Mhm.
I love it. And so yeah, so Maggie commissioned Mim, and then Mim wanted to get an idea of what my vibe was before drawing anything for me. You know, do like a bit of research
Right.
on the dude. So dropped into my stream, and I had already at that point been in a couple of Mim streams and interacted with her and thought she was cool as fuck.
Mhm.
And and then suddenly out of the blue after the stream, I get like a message with an emote at like 3 a.m. and it's Mim messaging me, and I'm like, "Yo, you're really cool, blah blah." And we started interacting, conversing, and then we basically just didn't stop talking every day for over a year. Like that's kind of how it went.
Mm.
So, um, yeah, and it went from just like a service to then friends to then bigging up each other's streams, constantly being in each other's streams,
Mm.
and to then like video calling, to then like setting stuff up, to then a relationship, and now I mean I think I told you like she is currently here visiting me,
Mm.
and so to have gone from that to where we're at now is the most incredible, exciting, amazing journey that I have ever been on.
Yeah.
Um, and again, to think that all that came from starting to stream when I was in a really bad place. And
Mm.
now I'm in an amazing place.
Mhm.
It's almost like everything blossomed, everything bloomed.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I mean, I love her dearly. So we do a lot of stuff together because I want to spend time with her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do trucking streams together that we love.
Mhm.
We've done we did the charity streams together, which were a lot of fun, where I got to draw her eyebrows because she doesn't have eyebrows. So I got to give her like a monobrow that kind of went up, and it was a whole thing. It was great. Um, and yeah, we do a lot of things together.
That's
Yeah,
it.
and
It's an
yeah, sorry,
amazing.
go.
No. It's an amazing story, and I think it's one of those things that, again, why I'm such a big believer in fate and the universe, and like
Right.
things happening for a reason. You know, you start to stream, you find Closey tells you about Maggie tells you about Mim, and it's like these
Yep.
things that are all reliant on an algorithm somewhere, or just it's like it could Closey could have
Yep.
found any Baldur's Gate streamer, but he found you. He could have
Yeah.
he could have decided not to tell you Maggie about you, but he did. Maggie could have decided not to
Hmm.
commission Mim, or commission somebody else, or all these little
Yeah.
things that have to go right for things to be where they are do go right.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that to me it's beautiful to see and hear about, and to just think that one little decision along the way changed would mean something completely
Right.
different, and
Yeah.
to where things are now. It's a beautiful story, and I'm glad that you got to share it here and tell us. And I
Thank
do
you.
agree,
Yeah.
Madam Mim is insanely cool, and she's a wonderful, wonderful being.
Right.
Yeah,
She really is. She's
yeah,
the best. She's the best.
yeah.
Um. And yeah. But yeah, as you say, I mean, it's like I don't know. It feels to me like I put all of my chips on like 13 black, and it just hit 13 black,
Mm-hmm.
and I quadrupled my bet.
Yeah.
Like that's how it feels. Like I invested this tiny little thing, and now the fruits of that are just so much like outweighing what I,
Yep.
like it's a roller coaster, and it's just this snowball that grows and grows.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I know that you're also going to have an interview with her, so you can probably get her side of the story as well.
Oh,
But it's a wild ride.
yeah. We will. She is a scheduled guest at some point this season, and we will ask the same question in the reverse, and the viewers will get both sides of the story, and it's going to be great for the viewers.
Yeah,
So
it should be like so he was this like sweaty, like Cheeto stained Mario speedrunner that I thought was like kind of gross, but also maybe cute. It's like that's probably what it would be.
here's the
Um,
ironic twist at the end of this next question. In a year from now, you'll be sponsored by Cheetos. Um, hey, could you imagine?
Easy.
But as we were talking about, it's been a journey from where you started to where you are
Yeah,
now. But if you were to look
absolutely.
forward, say a
Hmm.
year, 2 years, what do you want for your future as a content creator? What do you want your streams to be in, say, a year or 2 years from now?
I don't really know, honestly. I mean, so very soon after I don't know when this episode is going to come out, but at the end of this month, which is April right now, I will be moving to Germany. So streaming has taken a bit of a backseat for
Right.
the time being, just because I have a lot of stuff that I have to think about.
Yeah.
Uh, but what I see for content creation, I mean, in the future, I would love to be, uh, I don't know, like kind of doing what I'm doing. Like
Mm.
I don't need more. Like
Right.
I don't want, I don't want to be huge. I don't want that.
Mm.
I want to make sure. I mean, if that happens, sure, great. I'd love the money, but like, but if my streams continue to just be a place for a very close group of people to hang out and have a safe place and interact and have fun while I play while I fail at Elden Ring for 6 hours, then great.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I want it to be. I mean, maybe I could once I have my own place, maybe I could set something up and do some music streams.
Mm.
That would be cool.
Mm.
Because I'm a musician basically. That's
Oh.
what my degree is in. Apparently, I've got it on a piece of paper, so
Y-
it must be true.
Yeah. If it's
Um,
written down, it has to be true. I think
right.
that's like one of the laws
Exactly.
of nature, if I'm not mistaken. It's written somewhere, so
Yeah.
it has to be true.
It has to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And other people have said that to me, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe they could have been lying, but yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe some music streams that could be cool. I would love to do more I love doing like community game things,
Mm-hmm.
like you know when Thor does his golf with friends,
Mm-hmm.
and just spams invite on every person on his Steam friend
Yeah.
list repeatedly,
Yeah.
like like those evenings they
Mm.
are genuinely like, super fun. Um, and yeah, just playing games with friends, like more multiplayer stuff. I think
Yeah.
I would really like that.
Yeah. I think your community would love it too, and I speak as a member of your community. Um, it
Mhm.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's always fun hanging out. So I started asking this question. This is as we wrap this up. This is the final question, final Jeopardy, if you will. I started asking this midway through the last season, and I say this at the end when before I ask this question because I want to mark it down. I get all types of answers. Sometimes I get a half answer. Sometimes I get very rarely do I get a real quick. Oh, I know this. I get a lot
Uh,
of ums and ahs. So I will ask and see where which camp you fall into.
oh, okay, I'm excited. All right,
Tell us
let's
your
do
favorite stream that you've done.
it. Here it comes. Ah,
Yeah.
um, that is an excellent question. I don't know. There are so many streams that are dear to my heart.
Mm.
Um,
You can
I,
give
I,
moments as well. If you can't pick one, you can give a series of moments, which is the sort of off ramp I allow guests to go through.
mm. One, all the streams that I've done with Mim
Mm.
are very, very high up. Like I can't. I mean, they're like in a category of their own.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like because those I cherish and
Yeah.
those are so special to me.
Yeah.
So they are just all by default above everything else.
Mm.
Um, but aside from that, which goes without saying, like I had a think. I mean, some of my early streams, like when I did Trucking Simulator, and I let chat pick the music for my like so they could like song request,
Mm.
and they played my radio for me while I was trucking around. That was super fun because not only do you get to interact with chat and hang out, but you get to listen to what people in chat like what their favorite music is,
Yeah.
and you start to hear music you've never heard and so
Mhm.
on. It was really interesting. Yeah,
Mhm.
really cool. We also had another one that comes to mind is I was playing some garbage indie horror game, absolute just bin juice level of game, um, and this funny. So it was Emma was in chat, and Siggy Sigalian
Mhm.
and a bunch of other people from the community, and they started doing this weird thing where they started trying to predict what was going to happen in the game before it happened, and they were getting like scarily accurate.
Mm.
And the whole stream became this conspiracy theory where everyone was like, okay, this is one of those like creepy pasta games where like you play it and then once you finish playing it, it wipes your memory of it, and then you play it again, but you have like vague recollections of it, and it just became this whole thing. um yeah, that was a really funny one. There was uh playing, well, again, this is a co-op stream, but one of my absolute favorite streams of all time was Mario Sunshine
Mm.
with me,
Mm.
because I was just playing it. She was in Discord because she has played the game a lot, so
Yeah.
she knows how to play the whole game. I'm a complete noob,
Mm.
and I'm just failing. Like, I mean, the stream could be summed up with "I fail, Mim laughs." Like that could be the tagline, which sounds super simple, but it was so funny. Like it was honestly so funny. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's been just so many fun streams
No,
over the years. I mean, the time that I finally got my sub 20 minute time in Super Mario 64.
oh.
When
Yeah.
I speedran it, and I mean, it was just like this tiny moment, but to me,
Mhm.
it was amazing
Mhm.
because I had spent months months trying to do that and failing horribly,
Mm.
and then I finally got it, and I was like, oh my god! Like I left the room, like I had like palpitations.
Mm.
It was intense.
Hey,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
those are
uh,
all great answers, and
yeah,
they will be entered into the pantheon of the favorite stream question. Um,
great.
but it's I find that a lot of times the worst games produce the best streams in the right community. Um,
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry.
no, you're
I
good.
played this game
I think
Serena.
yeah, it sounds familiar.
Again, binge use game. But it was so funny because the voice acting in the game was so bad
Mhm.
that I was like emulating it. I was doing impressions of it and like exaggerating it, and like chat was losing it,
Mhm.
and like chat was like quoting lines from it. Like, I mean, what is it? It's like he finds a body in a closet and he's like, "No, I can't go in there again. It's grotesque." And it's just like this, just the way the intensity. Oh, and he's like, "My thoughts are so scattered," like ridiculous. And that was such a fun stream. It was because chat was rolling. I was
Mhm.
losing my mind. Like I had to keep pausing the game just to tears and like in hysterical laughter. It's ridiculous.
The best,
Yeah.
the best to me are like the really janky, bad horror games that are made
Oh
by
yeah, they're
indie
good.
because they're not
Yeah.
scary and you could,
No.
if you take the piss out of it. I've done a few like co-op. I did a co-op one with Dorklina, who is German, and
Hmm.
her Steam is set up in German. So we were
Oh,
playing.
okay.
I think it was Devour, and Devour is kind of like half.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or it was
I know
Pacify, not the. It was Pacify, which is,
it.
it's
Okay.
another one that's kind of like broken and
Is
really.
that the one with the girl in it with
Yeah.
the?
Mhm.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they added some new level or whatever, but it was all in German, and I don't read German, so I had
Oh.
to try to best read what was in front of me, and I was just. Taking the piss out of what I was reading, and she was laughing, and chat was laughing, and it just became this
Oh.
this entire experience. So, yeah, the jankiest horror games often produce the best results, in my opinion, with the right communities.
Definitely.
Uh,
Definitely. Absolutely. Because people find fun in the game that isn't so much the game.
mm-hmm.
It's like the problems with the game become what the game is about, and it's because it's so funny.
It's hanging
Like
out with
because
your friends.
people will point out the weirdest shit that you didn't even see.
Yeah.
Like I was playing this like detective game, this like 2D from like I think the 90s, late 90s,
Mm.
and I went into this restaurant and there was a there was a dog in there, a dog. It was like the lowest polygon, just mush mammal existing in the restaurant, and it was so fun. Oh god, like chat, like one after the other, it was like, what is that? What is that? What is that animal? What is, and and I just started pissing myself. So
Yeah.
it's so
It's
funny.
people get to flex their funny muscles. But
Mm,
one small ghost, you have made one large impact on this interview and this show. You have survived the interview portion. I cannot say
mm,
thank you enough for joining us. I hope you had
thank you.
fun. I had
Good.
a great time. Um,
Yeah.
and I say to everybody at home watching, I say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please check out One Small Ghost. All of his socials will be in the description down below. So be sure to follow him on Twitch, on Twitter, YouTube, whatever, all the socials. But Ghost, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was lovely. I really enjoyed this. Yeah.
I'm really glad you did. And I'll be back with the conclusion of the episode. Once again, thank you to One Small Ghost. And that was the conversation with One Small Ghost. A hearty thank you to him for joining us once again. That was a wonderful conversation that I had a lot of fun having and recording, and I hope you had watching as well. Join us next week where we will have a more exciting guest as the weeks continue. Um, I am Outlaw76. Thank you at home for watching. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, leaving a comment down below, and if you feel so inclined, hitting the notification bell to be notified when I release new content. I'm Outlaw Man 76. Thank you for watching. Be safe, and I'll see you next time.